Tonight, we're hearing from the new head of transportation about his plans to fix crumbling roads and bridges and give the state a road to recovery. You ask any Rhode Islander about the roads and you'll likely get an earful. In fact, the roads are so bad, we've been at the bottom of the rankings now for years.
Aging infrastructure not only costs the state a lot to repair, we've learned it can cost you, the driver, a lot of money too.
So we got our first formal interview with the man whose task is to figure this out and how to rebuild it and how to pay for it.
Eyewitness News reporter Brian Yacono is here now with the story you'll see only on Eyewitness News.
This bridge on Warren Avenue in East Providence has become the prime example of what the new director of the Rhode Island DOT considers an unacceptable infrastructure. He tells me his top priority is to make sites like this a thing of the past. You drive Rhode Island's roads, you see what we see. Potholes, revolving construction projects, and crumbling bridges, in some places held up by stacks of wood wedged into place. They're an eyesore to look at, and when you break down the numbers, things are just as ugly. The Ocean State has over 1,100 bridges. According to the Department of Transportation, only 21% of those are in good condition. 1 out of every 6 bridges is structurally deficient. Keep in mind, the national average is close to 1 out of every 10 bridges. The state also has 983 miles of major roads, according to the American Society of Civil Engineers, 41% of which are in poor condition. The poor state of our infrastructure has landed us at the bottom of national rankings for years now. In the latest study from the Reason Foundation, a nonpartisan public policy research group, Rhode Island was 47th out of 50 states. Those poor rankings are also taking a toll on your car to the tune of an additional $661 in operating costs and vehicle repairs. That's for each Rhode Island motorist, according to the American Society of Civil Engineers.
Correcting these problems.
This is the man who says he can not only patch Rhode Island's infrastructure woes, but make it stronger.
We're in a critical state right now.
Peter Alviti Jr. is the new director of RIDOT. He tells me he's witnessed the state's infrastructure crumble around him for decades. Just 8 weeks into his new job, his priorities are clear. Are there any other specific places in the state that are high on your list?
Yeah. I think these pictures behind me pretty much say where our priorities lie. I feel the need, for the sake of the health and safety of the people of the state, to go back in and have more focused attention on those bridges that are classified deficient.
Alviti tells me his goal over the next 10 years is to lower the number of deficient bridges in the state and better develop a Providence transit hub linking rail, bus, and bike paths.
And make the links where people can actually move faster, cheaper, better, more conveniently with mass transit than they can with their own automobiles.
Aside from all the construction outside, he's also rebuilding his department from the inside, saying every employee must look for solutions in different ways than what's been done before.
The solutions that got us here are not the solutions that are going to fix these problems. It's very apparent.
But rebuilding hundreds of bridges, not to mention construction like the multi-span Providence Viaduct and 610 connector, it takes money. Where will it come from? Tolls? An increased gas tax?
We need to consider everything. Everything is on the table. Every form of financing, every form of project delivery is on the table, and we are pursuing them all.
But for the foreseeable future, years at the least, we're stuck with barrels, lane closures, and patchwork as a new director builds a new system. The director tells me his team is still working on the specifics of their long-term plans in terms of projects and funding, but those details will be announced over the next few months. I'm Brian Yacono, Eyewitness News.
And you can head to our website right now to learn how Rhode Island's roads and bridges compare with other states. Check out a photo gallery of infrastructure projects and see what roads and bridges are top priority in your community. It's all on WPRI.com.